Good evening, everyone. How the hell are you? Welcome to Tuesday night Q&A. Kind of kind of an interesting start to the night. Ellen is again having some difficulties with her camera and computer. And I promise you, she has been listed as co-host for computer. And we'll see if she can get it to work. And she just sent me a text showing she had like half of a camera. So don't know exactly what we're going to get. She may, have to come on down and join us again in the studio. Hello, Brentwood. Good to see you. Always good to see you. And Miss Melissa, good afternoon to you as well. Hope everyone is having a good evening. New Tricks, good evening to you. And Carrie Berry's mom. It's like a roll call of all the greats. We really are glad to see y'all. And hopefully Ellen can get on. She has joined, but no camera. So still having a few technical difficulties. Thought I just saw one of our dogs walking outside, but it's somebody with a similar dog. You never know with ours. They are up in Ellen's little room. So they may all be joining us here shortly. KP, how are you doing tonight? It's Tuesday night Q&A. Kind of an open format. Feels a little weird without Ellen, actually. So hopefully she can get in and join us shortly. But tonight's kind of a special night. In addition to the normal random questions, we're having puppy night, puppers night. Several of you have sent in some of your beloved pictures and some really cute pictures. So look forward to going over some of those with you. Appreciate you doing that. We kind of celebrate our pets around here. I remember when we first got started, somebody suggested that, we held up Chunk and Toulouse and introduced them, kind of co-producers there. And somebody suggested that we ditch the dogs. Yeah, that's kind of hard. The dogs refuse to be ditched. They're kind of adamant on being a part of the show sometimes. So won't be ditching them. Trying to teach them a little bit better manners and timing. Kind of a ongoing education lesson. With Toulouse, we've been working with her for about 4 or 5 years now. Chunk, at least a full year. So we have been joined by the star and the co-producers.
Y'all, I'm sorry. I am in tears. I can't get anything to work today. And I'm starting menopause and I'm just really emotional. I apologize, but nothing is working and I don't understand why. At least, we're real here, right?
I'm sitting here thinking, if I can get this to work, there is one thing. There is one thing that always kind of helps me feel a little better.
Chunkers. Chunkers. Oh, thank you, KP. It was and Carrie Berry's mom. I know it's just like some days are just like, oh my God, can I just get a break today? Or
well, to me, it's kind of hard to see that video of Chunk And there's a couple of Tallulah that just yeah, you have to smile and realize that it's still a good life. So hopefully that'll help a little bit.
It's not me, it's the tech. It's got like I don't understand. Like I sent Clay a picture and it was half of my camera screen was entirely black. I'm like, this is a laptop we bought within the past year.
Now wait a minute, new tricks. Because
I will always tell him user error, so don't get error.
Yeah. When there's an error with the technology that I'm in the process of using, it's always my screw up. Mm-hmm. I mean, Ellen's even gotten an email. I forget from who. I don't remember. But talking about my ineptitude with the technology.
It is hot upstairs, and I wondered about that, Brentwood Chic. I did wonder about that. If the heat upstairs may have affected the laptop, but don't tell the computer. Don't tell Lenovo that.
So, I think there's a little bit of.
I'm trying to keep Tallulah off the desk by holding her tail.
That's not working too good. She's definitely trying to get on the desk.
She will. It's Pupper's night. It's pup party. She knows it. I'm sorry about the tears, y'all. I'm just.
We don't have pictures of ours because they're live and in person.
Woo.
And Chunk. There's Chunk. You can't see him, but there he is. All you can see is his tongue sticking out.
He's got a cute little pink tongue now.
You can't.
Oh, thank you, KT. I give you both permission to be real people. It is. I was upstairs. I was like, I don't understand why this isn't working. It's supposed to work. And I told Clay, I said, I'm crying. I don't even know what to say. Like, I probably shouldn't even come on tonight. And he was like, no, I got to have you. So figure it out.
Yeah, it's just not the same.
So you got me in tears. That's what you get.
It's titled... Dogs are just literally taking over the desk and in my lap. It's titled Moffat on Money. And I seriously thought, because, we were going to talk about money and finance and economics and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
and we've kind of morphed into a little bit broader area. So I thought about changing the title because it is not really just Moffat. So, threw out a couple Latin names. She didn't get excited about that. So I'm not sure what we ought to switch it to, but maybe just call it the posse. I don't know.
The pup posse.
Because they will definitely take it over. All right, let me see. Chunk, I actually need to get to the mouse without sticking my hand up your anatomy. Brentwood Chic. Babe, if you cry if you need to cry. We'll cry with you and then pick you up.
Thank
you. KP, I give you both permission to be real people.
We try. I mean, you're not always going to see the Moffat mob. That's cute. You're not always going to see like the best sides of either of us because we have days. Can I talk about your thing or no?
What thing?
Today.
Oh. I guess so.
Sorry.
That's all right.
So Clay has had, this is another thing that also has me all upset. Clay has been to the endocrinologist. He went, 8 months ago, first time?
6 months ago.
6 months
7 months ago.
And he just had a biopsy taken of his thyroid.
Couple lumps on the thyroid, not the thyroid itself, but couple lumps on the thyroid.
And they have biopsied those.
Yeah. One of them's growing pretty good. So he's like, we need to sample this for posterity.
And the man walked around last week for at least a day saying dead man walking. It was not that funny. So
kind of was.
Not really.
I mean, I was born to die. So I
Clay.
really figured when I was younger, I thought probably wouldn't make it past 30. So ever since I made it past 30, I'm like, this is all gravy. So, I'm thankful for the life I've had. I know what lies ahead and I'm at peace with that. So, whatever time I've got left here, I want to enjoy, I want to be thankful for, I want to try to, do a few good things while I can. And, when my number's up, my number's up. So, I'm not really terribly bothered about it. The dog's sitting on my hand while it's on the mouse probably bothers me more.
Well, it doesn't
So-
bother me more.
So
She can sit on your
Alright.
hand all you want to as long as you're still living. That I know that thyroid cancer is not that big of a deal, but Clay has been talking like it is.
yeah.
All right, pup party.
Pup
We'll try
party.
to do something happy.
Do y'all want to see some cute pup pics? Let's start with some cute pup pics.
We could have done cat or anybody pics. I don't know why we decided pup.
Good point.
Ooh. Hey, cutie.
We are going to start off with Crazy Cat Queen's pup.
Cutie.
This is Lexi or Alexandria. I think Lexi is the preferred moniker, and she is just. Is that a good hair day or a bad hair day?
That's a bad hair day. But she's enjoying that air conditioning. I'll tell you that.
She is on a vent, isn't she?
Yeah. See her hair's flipping up on the side.
That I did not even pick that up.
Mm-hmm. She's enjoying that air.
I was too busy just mesmerized by the eyes. Great eyes.
Yes, she's got
Cute smile.
Her hair's like Tallulah. It's not the greatest hair. It's like cotton hair and it tangles so easily. But bless her. She's a precious little girl.
And there's Lexi all bundled up. Maybe a summer pick before, a winter pick now.
That reminds me of Tallulah a lot, actually.
Yeah. It does.
They can't see it, babe.
Oh, duh.
Sorry, guys. We're just doing this by ourselves. Wish y'all could see it.
Sorry about that.
You don't have to do two. There's just one of them.
Tell you what.
Oh, geez. Thank you, Brentwood Chic.
Okay, there we go.
Is that better?
See now, who gets the blame for the technical issues now?
You.
New tricks.
Carrie Berry's mom.
Time for you to come in. Are you going to share the screen? Okay, I might be a little slow.
So that's Lexi. On the vent with all of her hair. Yeah, we're just going to tell you all about it.
Good hair, bad hair. And then we've got Lexi sneaking a peek.
That reminds me of Tallulah. I sent actually you a meme of a little white dog in a white blanket popping its head up.
Yes.
Going, hello. And Clay said, is that Tallulah? I was like, no, it's cute though, but it's not Tallulah. He wants his ball. That is like Ruru too. That
is Tallulah. When you approach her, she will flop on her back and try to get you to rub her belly.
Oh, they have the worst hair too. I mean, it's beautiful, but they do have it gets so knotted so fast, so easy. And Tallulah is not a diva. She cannot stand being brushed. She would rather roll in the dirt outside.
Oh, and when you bathe her and she's all clean and everything, that's the first thing she wants to do is go outside and roll in the dirt. She is like a little pig pen.
That's her nickname, Pig Pen. Chunk is losing his mind. That is cute. Hi, little girl. Lexi.
Now, also, Crazy Cat Queen apparently has rescued a dog. This one's better pick.
Oh, the Pooh Bear. And Lamb Chop.
And Lamb Chop, a big Lamb Chop. Don't know the name of this one. Can y'all hear Chunk crying in the background? He's crying extremely Okay. He is crying just pitifully because his ball is in a drawer.
You said the B word. It's a round spherical object.
He knows what it is.
I'll be right back.
So Ellen is going to go get his heart's desires. Crazy ass dog. But this is a rescue. Was apparently in a modestly abusive home. Was rescued with another dog. The other dog did not make it. And so this one's been at her vet's for apparently several months.
Aw.
And so she rescued it. Now y'all can hear that. That is the ball. Okay, we have got to see the ball. And if you hear any commotion, it's the dogs chasing the ball.
And yelling at each other about Talila's mad that Chunk got the ball.
Yes. This is our night. This is what we do almost every night. All right. KP.
Oh, it's a spaniel. I have not seen these. Clay has kept these all to himself.
This is the first time in public. KP's. This is Luna.
Hey, Luna Lou. What a cute baby.
This one is the younger Luna. Don't know how much younger.
Sorry about, yeah.
This is definitely a dog night.
It's ball time.
It's ball time. This,
Oh my goodness.
I meant to save this one for last, but this is the doggy bus. This is the neighborhood dogs being picked up and going to doggy daycare.
You got like two spaniels, a maybe doodle, and then some kind of mix. And there must be a golden
Is that a hound?
retriever. That is, I don't know.
Part hound?
Looks like a brindle something. They are all cute. It's doggy night. I love it.
That's a great pick.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Luna.
This would be Luna all bundled up, ready to call it a day. And then you've got the summer Luna, tooling through the springs.
That is it. I wish I could be Luna right now. That's a great little spot.
And finally, winter Luna, all bundled up.
I love her little Adirondack looking jacket. That is so cute.
I was going to say that's Mexican. She's imitating a Mexican, but I'm not sure. Colorful blanket.
I know, I get it. I know it's awesome, right, KP? Now we've got Melissa's pooches. Hi, Puggy Pug Pug. Look at all the blue. What a cutie.
This would be, I think, Green Bean celebrating Shark Week.
Yell at it, Tallulah. Tell your son.
And Tallulah is obviously all mad because
I love the
Chuck has the ball.
That is so cute.
That is a cute pick.
Wait, did you make all that stuff? Because it all matches. How did you make all that match?
Yes. Now,
That is precious.
really cute. As is Green Bean after a puppuccino.
You're all right. Oh my gosh. Okay, she's not gonna let it go. I gotta hang on. I got another ball. He's not gonna give it up. She's not gonna let it go. Okay, hang on. Look.
Yeah, we love that Melissa's dog celebrates Shark Week and loves puppuccinos. Did I say that right? Puppuccinos?
I love how you have everything all coordinated. Color coordinated. It's so cute.
This is funny. Green Bean is barking back at the pups.
That is cute.
It's frustrating. We'll be watching TV, and on TV, they'll ring a doorbell, and ours go berserk every time.
It's on television.
Yeah, just goes nuts. And now we have Luna also looking around, wondering where the dogs in the computer are.
Let's do that one. Yeah. Oh.
And this is
Okay, we couldn't read the name.
Melissa with Jody
Someone help us out.
Whitlock.
Is it Whitlock?
Yes, she was apparently the 13th Doctor in the Doctor Who series.
No kidding.
Yes.
Very cool.
So
You researched that or something. Because we were trying, you showed me this, you were like, what if you did? Or you asked her.
She actually described it in an email. I was going to come up with this great little story, but.
Yeah, he keeps stuff from me. He showed me the picture. He was like, do you know who that is? And I was like, Jody something. Very cool. Love that.
That is a great pick.
Whitaker.
Thank
you, Matrix.
Hitchcock, Whitaker, I was close. But a cute pick. Can't deny that.
Give me a shake. Come here.
And then this is Boss Man with BB-8. You may recognize if you're a Star Wars fan, BB-8.
That's pre-R2D2, right?
Yes,
Before
that was
R2D2. That's his.
Was that before or after?
I think. I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not the biggest Star Wars human, but that is the cutest thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
And he's in his little harness. Bless his heart. But a cute pick. Cute doggies.
Oh, guys, I had a neighbor who had a Dachshund who was, or Dachshund, or whatever you want to call them. I always call them Dachshunds. But they, who would drag their legs, only had the front using, drag the back down the driveway. And I was just like, okay, I got to raise money for this poor dog to get wheels.
Yeah.
Because that is so important. Because it was just pitiful. I couldn't take it. I was like, I cannot watch this dog do this every day.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
And then we've got Sky Ricky with Sky and Ricky.
No way.
Yeah. That's the name after the two pups.
That is so cute.
That was cute as hell. And apparently, if I remember correctly, Sky.
This is how we do this right here.
Say the ball. They both love the ball. It's insane.
And he looks like, oh, he just dropped this. Looks like he's got an orange.
Whoops.
Oh, sorry. Go back real quick.
There we go.
They love their balls.
That is what all the commotion is about. They're like two retrievers.
I keep telling them they're terriers. They're having an identity crisis. They have from the. You can take me off. Like there's no reason for me to be on there. They are like freaking frack. They're like Dumb and Dumber, actually.
Sky and Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Which one's which?
I think Sky is the one in back. Ricky is the one in front. And Sky apparently will steal Ricky's toys, and Ricky just gives up.
You have all the backstory.
I've done a lot of research.
Can we can we get a confirmation on that? And how big is Sky? Because Ricky looks tiny.
Yeah, there looks like a size mismatch there.
It does, but so is our Toulouse and Chunk. Still puffy. They are puffy. They're so cute. Looks like a poodle and a doodle, but I'm not sure.
Now this is a little bit different from Susan Rice.
Oh, that is so pretty.
This is where she lives.
I am so jealous. Can we come visit you?
I mean, this is...
That is beautiful.
Yeah, I will sell my place today.
We can just have
I'm ready.
I can't point it out, can I?
No.
This little spot, like right here.
Little spot on the left, dry land.
Build a tiny cabin, have the dogs just run and jump and play and swim and all the things.
I mean, just incredibly beautiful. And it continues.
Oh my God. Where do you live? This is gorgeous.
Well,
let me guess. You already know.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Let's just say it's out in the Rockies, without giving away a specific
Yeah, that
location
is
or anything.
beautiful.
Yeah, just incredibly beautiful.
I am so jealous. I mean, oh, there's the puppy.
There's the puppy.
I mean, I've been to South Dakota. I haven't done a lot in the U.S. I've been to like Nevada, South Dakota, and I mean, oh, the rock formations are just incredible, in my opinion. They are just gorgeous. To wake up every morning and see that would just be what a blessing.
Yeah, I've seriously thought about trying to move to Montana, yeah, Montana, Wyoming, that area. And I think, the winters, I don't know that I can do a 6 or 7 month long winter, even though the summers, late spring are just incredibly beautiful. And then I start seeing pictures, from the Rockies, and I think, yeah, winter can't be that bad.
Well, you got to think though that, I mean, the winters aren't okay because we're in the South, so every winter is very wet, like the summers.
And dark.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying down here, like it's so wet,
Yeah.
like the cold is so wet that it's colder than a dry cold.
Like the heat is hotter because of the humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Humidity matters.
And you are a great photographer, Susan. I mean, my Lord.
Yeah, some great pics.
I want to come visit you. Please. Please, ma'am. I mean, that is just incredible.
Perfectly still water. You've got a mirror image with the reflection of the water.
That is amazing.
And
isn't that a lily or no?
Or an orchid?
An orchid.
Yeah, I'm thinking orchid, but I'm not a what's the field that specializes in? Yeah, thank you. I was thinking of something a little bit more technical.
Sorry, I was just making it simple. Oh my gosh.
I'm ready to move.
I am. Hey, Crazy Cat Queen. We already went through your pups, Boo Bear. You missed it.
We'll have to do a quick repeat since Crazy Cat Queen has joined us.
Yeah, but Susan posted these. Oh my God, these pictures are freaking insane. Those are orchids, aren't they? Natural orchids?
Yeah, or some relative. I am just not certain, but they are beautiful.
They are a whole field of them. That would be insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Kind of like that.
So do y'all want to all chip in and buy like a huge place? What do they call those? Compound?
Yeah. Seriously.
Because this, I mean, it is beautiful. Oh, the babies. She's got a mint in.
And one of those is Fraser. Not sure. Fraser is 16 and doesn't travel as well as he used to.
It says fancy.
Fancy, I'm sorry. Fancy. And doesn't trap, but I'm not sure which one is which. I think the tan one is Fancy.
We got horses.
Yeah, what's the horse's name? Leave out the horses. That's not nice.
I mean,
we're going to get their feelings hurt.
Just like, okay, I am so jealous. Oh.
And if you can't, I talk about living somewhere where, you can watch the sunset. I say no more.
Yeah, if you don't invite Clay, he's probably going to hunt you down and come move in with you, or at least beside you, because he loves this. I mean, this is beautiful.
I hear it's real tough to get rid of squatters. And now for Crazy Cat Queen, since she has joined us, ta-da, there's Lexi.
For the so Crazy Cat Queen, you have to understand that we were watching or looking at these, and Clay forgot to share the screen. So they were like, everybody's like, can we see too? We're like, oh, so we were talking about how cute the air was coming up through her ears, and,
laying on the vent.
Yeah.
And then the very next picture, I was talking about how I really like the eyes. And the very next picture, pretty much all you see, the eyes.
Everybody was like, do you mind sharing with us?
Yeah.
Or are we just going to get your commentary?
Good. And you missed the part about the technical difficulties. Ellen had a little technical difficulties again with her computer. That's why she's
Oh Lord, I was
plopped
bawling.
down here.
I was bawling when I came down here. It was just it's just a hot mess tonight. We are a mess.
So
I'm a mess.
We just decided to go ahead and jump into doggies.
And that is so much like Tallulah. Like that is crazy cute. Those little eyes and the big old brown eyes and the black nose, they're just, oh my goodness.
And Ellen keeps her hair a little shorter, but her hair is very, very similar to Toulou's.
And I'm not gonna lie, it's a pain in the butt because it's almost like cotton, and it tangles so easily.
Yeah, don't know how much you have to comb her, brush or whatever, but Toulouse is if you let it get that long, it's nonstop. It's just big mats.
Yeah, and she's like Pigpen. She loves to go and just roll in all the dirt and all the things and just get dirty and get all matted. And that's why I used to keep it really long. Because she's got that Maltese in her. I think this one does as well if she's not all Maltese. But I should send you that picture. You can put it up.
Yep.
With her little ponytail.
Yep.
Let me go grab that real quick.
And then,
oh, the baby.
And then we talked about the rescue, but didn't know name, didn't know if you were just calling it rescue or, and wasn't sure if you were adopting this permanently or just keeping it while looking for a permanent home. But a cute little pup, and we admired it having poo and lamb chop.
Lamb chop. Every dog or every dog owner that I know in this neighborhood and just from friends, everybody has a lamb chop. And actually, Sadie, lamb chop is her favorite, if you know what I mean. And it's a big one, just like that.
That's funny. Chunk and Toulouse have a lamb chop, but it's about a 1/10 that size.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna send you that picture real quick. Hang on. You have to find a phone or
yeah, send it to the email, not my phone. Work. Okay. So we want to make sure you got to see your your pups on air, but did have a few other questions, about the rescue, the status of that. And for anybody out there watching, if you haven't sent in pup pics, feel free. We could do this all the time. We love animals. Horse pics, cat pics, pig pics.
Cat pics, all the lizard pics and hamster pics and all the pics. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna send you is a chicken last night because that was just messed up. And I want somebody's opinion on that.
The chicken last night was messed up. This is getting a little scary.
I showed you that because I'm worried that people are putting weird chicken in things.
Oh. Yeah, Ellen is trying to find a few pics to send me. That's her elbow right there.
When was Tallulah born? Okay, it was not that year. Sorry. I should keep my mouth shut.
Well, apparently I have to save it as a picture first. Sometimes Word just is irritating.
Yeah, I went to Costco and got some chicken, and I was making a stir fry last night, and I found this piece of chicken and decided I was not going to actually eat it.
Have y'all ever seen chicken shred like that?
I mean, the skin was just I just lifted it up. You can't see it.
Oh, once again. Y'all ever seen chicken shred like that?
It wasn't even like I just lifted it up and I was like, what in the world? It looks like worms, does it not? It was just very strange to me.
Yeah, never seen. It's almost like something is growing out of the meat. It's not really striations in the meat.
or the muscle. It's like
Yeah,
outside of it.
yeah.
I know y'all can't see what I'm pointing to, but
Get all my cursors off of it. Sorry,
that'll be helpful.
but yeah, just that was just a little weird.
It freaked me out. I was just like, I know I'm good. Thanks. Okay, I'm close. I'm close to the
Yeah.
picture.
And as she says, it was just Costco chicken.
And that was the only, and the flap was like the top of it was lifted up already. So I just like pulled it up and I was just like, Clay, this is not okay with me. Not any bit of this is okay.
Not that we're ADD, but getting back to Crazy Cat Queen's rescue. I have to say that carefully. Crazy Cat Queen's rescue photo. Pooh is Lexi's boyfriend. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
And we have about 7 lamb chops of various sizes.
Lamb chops are the best. Everyone likes a lamb chop. I'm still trying to find the photo. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what to do about that chicken, but we just decided not to eat it.
I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. But there is a thing about them using chicken cancer cells to make chicken. And this does not look like normal chicken. So I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, I even pulled the package out of the trash, to look for some sort of, disclosures. Nothing, just chicken breast.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it boneless chicken breast?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So not trying to knock Costco or whatever.
But it was just weird.
But that was a weird piece of chicken. Never seen chicken separate like that.
Yes, I'm still looking for the picture. I can't remember when she was born. It was a long time ago. Was it 19?
So while Ellen is focusing on that, Brentwood Chic, the whole package would have gone in the trash. I'm too picky.
Well, I'd already cut it up, and I was just like, "What in the heck is going?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not eating this. You can forget it. It ain't gonna happen." Okay,
Yeah,
we're almost there.
With Costco, you buy there's 8 packages bundled together. So that was one piece out of the package. We're going to, next time we open another piece from that package, we're going to look at it carefully.
Well, the rest of it's gone. That was just one piece and half. There was one piece and one half of the 2 that I opened, and that was the other piece.
Okay.
And the rest of them were in a sealed off package, and there was nothing wrong with them. So that's why.
But you can be damn certain we're going to be looking at them carefully.
Heck
yeah. We're looking for a reason not to eat it.
Listen, and I would love for a reason to just say, you know what? No, you can't do this.
Crazy Cat. So the rescue came with the name Zazu, but we call him Zoo, and he is a hot mess.
Juju.
Is it Zuzu? Zazu.
Oh, Zazu.
Yeah, I think it's Zazu. We're on a trial basis with him right now. 10 months old, jumps everywhere. Well, if it's any consolation, we've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old that jump everywhere. She's probably 4 or 5. 6 or 7. Still jumps everywhere.
I'm still trying to find the darn things.
Now, I don't know how big he is, but 7 pounds jumping everywhere is irritating. Looks like he's a little bigger than that. So, 50, 60 pounds jumping everywhere. That's a threat. But he was cute.
Okay, I just sent you one from 2019 with Walter. You can explain Walter.
Okay.
Walter is a mess.
And really, very kind of you to take in the rescue.
Rescues are the best.
All right, let's see. I don't know if this will work.
What?
I tried to cut and paste, but that's not going to work.
You gotta share that screen.
Um,
Or save it.
maybe I can do this actually. Ta-da.
Oh. The babies. That Clay can explain Walter to you. Walter is a hot mess. Bless him.
Well, let me do this. Let me just save it as a picture. Yeah, I know we're being a little bit of difficult here.
I'm crying. We're just trying to figure shit out. I don't even know. I'm gonna send you a couple of pictures.
Because I'm careful, particularly with some of the things that happen, at giving out her email address. So just going to do it as
Is
a
it on
picture.
there?
Yeah.
Oh.
So just going to do it as a picture. All right. This is Tallulah and Walter.
Wally
This is a bad hair day for Tallulah.
and Wally. Every bad day, but
And
every day's bad day for Wally.
if you're looking at Wally and thinking, oh, he's got kind of a funny expression, Wally always had a funny expression. Wally was the kind of
He
is
still is in existence.
Yeah. Wally is the kind of cat that you would probably describe as
Wally. Hey.
autistic.
He's very autistic.
I was about to say altruistic, but Wally is a special needs cat.
Eccentric.
He's eccentric. He's weird. Cats are normally weird. Wally is really weird for a cat.
Now, let me give you the backstory on Wally. Wally, we got him when he was about 2 weeks old. Wally's mother and litter mates were all devoured by a canine. Wally was the only survivor.
You know, animals won't attack another animal that they think is sick or mental or crazy or whatever.
Well,
It's
we rescued Wally. I rescued Wally with my daughter. She insisted we take Wally. Her dad is a veterinarian, and she was like, "No one's ever going to adopt this cat." And I said, "Okay, bring him home." So Wally came home, and Wally was smaller. I can't see what they can see here.
right there.
No, I mean, like, you got to give me like a. You got to pull us up.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Wally laid on a teddy bear that was about this big, and he was smaller than the teddy bear. He just kind of curled up on it, and he was the cutest, sweetest thing. Wally does have some trauma. Wally now lives with my daughter, but he is a very strange cat, and everything, like, we had a rose bush. Even when Wally was here, that, you know, it broke off the what do you call it?
Union bud?
The union bud. So we weren't sure what was going to happen because, like, it wasn't conjoined like it was supposed to be. So we called it Wally. And it has become, apparently it was voodoo, which is weird. Yep. Wally is the best. Wally is just the cutest little thing. And Tallulah loves cats. I mean, she and our cat now, Mahoney, they love up to each other. They snuggled when Tallulah was a puppy. And so did Wally. I mean, Wally he's got his little paw in that picture. You can share both screens.
You'll notice right here, he's got his paw up on her back, resting on her back.
I mean, they love each other. They were, you know, and even Mahoney, she puts up with Chunk.
But you know how cats sometimes will look surprised and kind of, draw their neck back in surprise. That was Wally all the time.
I will have a whole video of that. I don't
It's
know what
like
the heck it is,
it's
but-
like life was just a continual surprise to him. But he was kind of a cool cat. And if you really want to know how weird he was, he really liked me. And I'm not a cat
That's
person.
good enough.
I'm a dog person. I like,
Um,
I've known a couple of cats that I liked.
Oh, I got
But
it.
Wally was kind of a cool dude.
This
and-
was when he was chasing nothing. So you keep talking. I'm talking to myself. I do that often.
A little bit. KP sending big hugs to Wally.
Well, he's the best.
He's a good dude. Brentwood had to rescue that small once, turned into a 25-pound Maine Coon.
Oh my goodness.
That's solid. That's a little bobcat.
All right, so I'm sending Clay all kinds of things. It's like pet night. I don't know why we've gotten to this little thing, but it's fine. All right, 2.
Well, we figured all of ours get enough airtime. We might as well share some of the joy. Most everybody, it's kind of hard not to love good animal pics, cute animal pics. And so we thought, we'll just take a few minutes and just celebrate some of our best friends.
Okay, so I sent you one.
And
Oh, are you mad? You lost your ball and Chunk lost his ball and you took Tallulah's? Chunk.
and KP, I am not sure what that is. It looks like a brown square. Brownie?
Where?
Right there.
It might be a hug. Hang it, blow it up, make it bigger.
I can't.
Yeah, you can. Hit that button there.
With this one?
Uh-huh.
Didn't make it any bigger.
It's a hug. See, that's what I said. I used to think it was a weird, like, movie, like Mickey Mouse.
It looks like a movie camera.
I know. And it's weird, but
Thanks for the hug. Wally appreciates the hug. Also, let me show you this real quick. We were talking about Ellen's daughter, Emma. And I will be eternally irritated with Emma for this right here. Here is Emma blowing in Tallulah's face. Tallulah and Tallulah licks.
okay. Like, obsessively.
Tallulah licks and licks and
And
licks. It is nonstop licking. Seriously, non-stop licking. And so we have Emma to thank for training and reinforcing that behavior. I mean, you literally sometimes will just have to grab Tallulah's mouth and try to get her to stop. She gets right in your face and is just licking in air. Not going to talk about her breath, but if my eyes were closed, I can't tell the difference between her mouth and her arse. But
easy.
it's rank. But anyway, Emma.
That was a long, long time ago too.
Yeah.
When Tallulah was a very little puppy, because Oh, Jimmy's the same way. That's hilarious.
Crazy Cat coming up with the Maltese thing. Jimmy is the same way. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm giving Emma too much credit, but
she did encourage it.
She did. She worked to encourage it. This is not a one-time pick, from my understanding. She worked to encourage it. She thought it was cute.
2017. I mean, yeah.
Also have an autistic cat, Vanderbird. Trying to think where that name came from. Obviously Vandenberg Air Force Base, but Vanderbird. First 3 years, he would watch others play, but didn't know what to do.
That's Wally.
He still flops on surfaces on the edge and falls and doesn't land on his feet.
That's pretty much Walter. He just can't figure it out. I mean, he's just like Bless him. I mean, I love him to pieces, and he is a very sweet cat, and we still get updates on him, of course. But he would walk beside water, and I would be like, "Yeah, that's not gonna, this is Tallulah for the hurricane."
Yeah, we were having a hurricane coming this way, and we went
I
out.
was trying so hard.
We went out to the beach.
Hey, that's the flamingo in the back too. That's
Yeah.
Well, Clay said that to his students and said, "This is what perseverance looks like." Oh, there's the baby. That's baby Tallulah.
Good. Because our best bet is the person Regina hates most.
Okay, I sent you the one of Walter though. Where'd it go? No. Oh, no, it was me and M. It should have been the last one I sent. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying here.
The last one you sent was this one of baby Tallulah.
No, I sent this one though. Maybe I need to edit it and make it smaller. Hang on.
Probably still sending. So yes, they're all so precious. They are cute, you know. We are fortunate to have them. Sometimes I think I don't want pets because I get too attached to them, and then they do the inevitable.
Yeah, 262.1 megabytes is never gonna send.
No, nope, not going to be able to send it. You can,
I could really condense it down.
yeah. Or if you could upload it to a Google Drive and send me a link.
No, that's not gonna happen. Let me see. I mean, let's not be stupid about this. All right, do we have any questions like financial? Oh, here we go. Financial questions.
While we're doing that, I will go ahead and get to a few comments. Housing has been obviously a big topic of discussion on the channel. Several people kind of holding on, waiting to buy. And we've talked about, expecting a housing correction and why we're not seeing a steep drop in house prices. Most existing homes, people are not putting them on the market. Normally you have around 20 houses per 1,000 existing homes in the market. Well, that number has dropped to 13 or 14. So you don't have near as many houses for sale as you normally would. So that creates a shortage of supply. You've still got people moving for jobs, new schools, getting married, all that kind of thing. So there's still some demand, but the demand is greater than the supply. So you haven't seen prices come down a lot. We saw a brief drop in prices, and well, here it is. Do you see that? That's what we've got. Now, this steep upward curve is, the last couple of years. Here's 2020. So the last couple of years, you had the stimulus payments, which a lot of people use those and, bought houses, bought rental houses, whatever. So the price of housing soared. Looks kind of like a housing bubble. But why is this bubble not bursting? Well, it's the supply and demand thing. People got 2.75% 30-year mortgages. They know that if they were to sell it and try to buy a new house, they'd be paying 7%. So they're hanging on to what they've got. So you just don't see this number of people. You don't see the housing turnover that you have in past. So you don't see the drop in prices. Now, does that mean it won't happen? Well, we're starting to see a fair amount of layoffs. Yellow Freight, for example, is in negotiations or has been in negotiations, and apparently yesterday reached an agreement with its union. But the real question is, reaching an agreement is one thing. Are they going to be able to keep it is quite another. They're in pretty dire financial straits. They're having a lot of trouble, unable to raise new capital because they're in such trouble. Nobody wants to lend money to a company that's about to go bankrupt. So if they go bankrupt, that's going to be 30,000 people out right there. You've got the auto workers for all the big three complaining about not getting big enough raises. So they're going to go on strike. UPS just averted a strike, but the way they, averted it was agreeing to hike wages significantly, put air conditioning in all the new trucks, etc. It's going to be higher prices. So remember, when we talked about inflation a month ago, I said, yeah, you can expect it to come down, but it's going to go back up. Historically, it takes 5 to 7 years to get inflation back under 2% consistently. It vibrates, it fluctuates. And so that's what we're going to see. We're going to see this fluctuating inflation. It's dropped down, it's going to go back up. So as it goes back up, and as countries, the Fed's going to keep hiking rates, as companies have to refinance their debt, their interest cost is going to go through the roof. Now, the problem is, if you look at current corporate profits, companies haven't been refinancing their debts. So their interest costs, their interest expense has actually gone down.
What?
Yeah, that sounds weird. Interest rates going up, their interest expense has gone down. Because what is happening is the interest they receive obviously is going up. But over the past 6 months or year, a lot of them believed that rates were historically low. Rates were going to go up a year ago, 2 years ago. And so they locked in longer term rates. And so their interest expense hasn't gone up. Their interest income has gone up. So their net interest expense has gone down. That will turn around. Already maybe starting to, as they're, as the rates they locked in for 2, 3, 5 years, did it a couple of years ago, will start maturing. There's already, trying to remember the precise number, 40%, 48% of the S&P 500 companies are already unable to afford an increase in interest expense. So as the interest expense goes up, you'll see their profit margins tighten. You'll see them invert. You'll see them having to raise prices again, maybe lay off, cut expenses, lay off people. So you get this kind of stagflation economy.
Hey, Clay, I've also heard that people are buying houses at the current interest rate with payments they cannot afford, hoping that the interest rate is going to go down soon. Is that, and I've also heard, I think you even posted about the automobile repos are going up like they were maybe in the end of 2009. They're skyrocketing.
Yeah, they had been skyrocketing. They kind of leveled off because new car purchases have kind of dried up. Like particularly with EVs, people aren't buying EVs now. So you've had a lot of the big three put billions of dollars in EV expansion, and now people aren't buying them.
Yeah, I got into a discussion with someone today about how the batteries for all these and the waste and the pollution to the environment, and they were like, China is not even involved in our economy. I said, well, who is mining all of the minerals that we need to make these batteries?
The problem with EV prices in this country is that used EV prices have dropped 40% because people are realizing if you buy a 3, 4, 5-year-old EV, within a year, couple of years, it's going to need new batteries. And the cost for new batteries is going to be $15 to $25, $35,000 to keep that car working at any kind of competent level. So EV used car prices are crashing. There's just virtually going to be no demand for them.
Which is more waste into the environment.
It's going to be a problem. There's a lot of problems people really didn't foresee that they probably should have foreseen. So, bottom line is that the automobile manufacturers are going to be in for a tough number of years ahead. Their expenses are going up and their sales are going down.
Would you ever buy an EV? I don't know that I would.
Not with the current batteries, the lithium batteries. Now, there's some new promising battery technology that might come out that will be hopefully a lot more environmentally clean, will last longer, will be cheaper to replace, will hold a charge longer or more of a charge to give you better mileage. All sorts of things. For me and the way I drive, I looked at buying a Tesla a few years ago. And for the way I drive, it just wasn't practical. When I was in I travel some, and one time I was in Amsterdam, got picked up in I forget the model number. It's the big fancy Tesla. And I was, I thought, cool, my first ride in a Tesla. So I hopped in and just struck up a conversation with the taxi driver. And I was like, well, how do you like your Tesla? Hated it. Absolutely hated it. Well, I thought, well, that's interesting. Why? And he was talking about, one, had to buy a EV because the government was mandating it. Two, as many miles as he drove, he could only drive for, I don't know, 3, 4, I forget the exact time, but 3 or 4 or 5 hours. Then he had to pull off and charge it for 3 or 4 or 5 hours. So he was having to work like 20 hours a day to try to get enough money to live off of compared to his former combustible engine. And the replacement, he said he was anticipating having to replace the batteries, in 3 or 4 years, which would be an enormous expense to him. And keep in mind, I mean, he's not driving 12,000 miles a year, 15,000 miles a year. He's putting on 50, 60,000 miles a year driving as a taxi driver. So, there's some issues that people have been ignoring, and that bill is going to come due. That's kind of one thing we try to do on this channel is look at long-term effects.
Before you get too far
Yeah.
down the other rabbit hole, I have a story about this actually. Before I met you, and we won't talk about how that happened, but
she's a little embarrassed. I was
embarrassed?
dancing, and Ellen was one of the best tippers. So, after a few nights early in the morning, she'd had some to drink. I was a little bit concerned about her health and welfare. So I thought, let me take you home.
No, never happened. Anyway, so
she's a little modest.
Okay. I met this guy that had a Tesla, and he also did, I guess he created VR, virtual reality software for all the things. So I think all of you have probably heard or experienced the you go up the top of a very tall building and then you walk on this like wooden plank. So I did that. He had the goggles on me and he was like, got me all prepared, and I'm walking down the plank in my VR and I jump because it's not real. Like, why wouldn't you? So when I jumped, I hit his coffee table, about killed myself. He was like, no one has ever done that I have ever seen. And I'm like, well, whatever. So he's like, let's go drive my Tesla. So he let me drive his Tesla. I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, if you're going to jump off a virtual reality plank, why not? Right. However, the braking is very weird on the Tesla. as is, I mean, the acceleration is like you can go 0 to 60 in like no time at all. And it will drive itself as long as you keep your hands on the steering wheel every 30 seconds. But it is not, I mean, it's a cool freaking car. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I don't think that in the long run it's the best way to go.
Getting caught up on a
Sorry.
comment or two. No, we'll return to Tessa in just a second. I think she's talking about the Maltese or Crazy Cat Queen. You're talking about the Maltese. He really is. Also, no teeth. So many health issues with him. Chronic diarrhea, chronic sinus, respiratory, full mouth extraction helps some. Still sinusitis. Nickname Snot Nose Booger Face. It's kind of not funny, but
That's kind of cute.
love your attitude. Good attitude. Quad E, let's see your dancing moves. Well, Quad E, if you got the money, honey, I got the time.
Fade a bird, black cat. Gotcha.
How'd you come up with?
Fader bird.
Okay.
Duh.
Well, kind of got some hidden little Star Wars things going on.
We got pink mouth over here and a total. Someone destroyed something paper right here.
Our dogs are so dangerous.
They just get mad if you don't pay attention.
They really do.
Mm-hmm.
All right, got something we want to let you enjoy.
That I finally found.
Ellen finally got the video of Wally condensed enough where she could send it to me. So this is Wally, starring Wally.
Wow.
And this is not unusual. There's nothing in the room. This is just Wally.
If you see Number Holly does the same thing. Oh, I guess I haven't that much. But he continues to chase whatever the hell it is he sees down the hallway. This was my old house before I moved here.
Yeah, it's not that there was necessarily a bug or something he was chasing.
There was nothing.
It was like he saw a ghost and he was trying to grab its coattails. Don't know. No idea. Just Wally.
I mean, the video is very long and it's a lot of this, but unfortunately I had to like grab a little tiny piece of it to send to Clay.
Yeah, he would be, kind of like staring at the ground and then all of a sudden would jump up and do a 360.
And we're like, what?
Yeah.
Are you okay, honey? And he'd be like, mm-hmm.
Yeah. He just going about his normal business.
But with the two dogs, and you have not shared a picture of Thor. What is wrong with you? Do you want me to send you one?
Yeah.
Y'all don't know about our adopted dog.
KP, if I don't give Luna enough attention, i.e., she feels ignored, horrible thing, she will have a garbage party in the bathroom garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, ours, if y'all ever had a cat just goes in the bathroom and just scratches on the toilet roll till it's all gone, hell of a good time for a cat. Don't know how you break them of that.
Mine did that during Florence. They had lots of fun.
Yeah.
But Mahoney would not stay inside. She left. She was like, screw you.
Yeah, and the thing about Walter, we were kind of a little hesitant about letting him outside because he doesn't have the sense God gave a brass billy goat. Obviously, there's coyotes and raccoons around. So didn't really, think it was safe for him outside. So kept him inside. And with, our schedules and all, he wasn't getting a lot of attention. So Emma got a place of hers and, she wanted Wally. And so now he's in a place with Emma and her boyfriend and that gets a lot of attention. It's well taken care of and he's in a good place.
Yes. And he can't go outside. He shouldn't go outside.
Yeah.
It's not the best thing for him. I think I'm gonna try or attempt.
Zan's tired. Hey girl, how you doing?
Toots. Oh, you didn't show Toots his puppy. I sent it to you.
Did you?
Yeah. Duh.
Duh.
So I'm gonna try to send the video of Thor and Rue.
I don't think I have it. If you can send it to
I'm
me.
trying to. Hang on. I'm trying to find it.
Lady in Black. Oops, late as usual. Well, we are glad to have you. Welcome back. Appreciate you joining us tonight. We've just been doing the pup patrol. I say pup patrol. I'm using pup as generic for cats and dogs and everybody. We just finished showing off Wally, our
goofball.
goofball. I always want to say autistic cat. So
There it is.
Wally's kind of a hoot.
Let's see if I can do this. Yes, I think I can.
Crazy Cat Queen. 3 of my cats do the stares at ghost on the wall thing too. You know, I know like their sense of smell is 50,000 times more powerful than ours.
But Wally does this no matter where he is and what's going on.
Yeah.
He's not, I mean, this is just kind of funny, but he does some weird stuff.
And I really think
I know you could have sent lots of kitties. No, it's Clay just means when he says puppies, he means animals.
yeah, it's like talking about making a Xerox copy. You may use a Minolta machine or Canon or whatever.
Or a Coke as a Pepsi or a soda or a
Yeah.
Sprite or whatever.
Get me a Coke.
Yeah.
Being in the South, that means get me one of those dark, excessively sugary, bubbly kind of things.
Yes, Crazy Cat Queen. I was expecting to see all of your cats. And then I saw Clay put pup, and I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be a puppy.
Yeah.
It's just like a pet party. But Clay likes dogs better than cats. That's the thing.
I'm more naturally attuned to dogs. I like big, ugly dogs.
Oh,
As
and you're about to see one.
Yeah. I've had pits before everybody knew what a pit was, and everybody in the neighborhood loved it. He was affable. Then had the baby. I remember when she was 2, we were sitting out on the front porch, and we lived on a busy street. Cars would be going by, and she was, kind of toddling around in front of us right there in front of the steps. And she turned around and started, hustling over towards the street. And, I thought, I need to do something here. So we're trying to get this movie lined up. I start to rock forward to get up, and I am knocked over by the dog. His name was Albie. He was a 95-pound pit. He's jumping out after Casey, grabs her by the diaper, picks her up, brings her back, sets her down where she was, climbs back up behind me and lays back down. Just a damn cool dog. From the moment we brought her home, we had her down on the floor, changing a diaper or something. And he lays down on his belly, I don't know, a foot from her, and then gently paws his way forward till his nose is just barely touching her head. So he was always cool.
Okay, hang on. Sit one over. Crazy Cat Queen. Nope. Down. 2 more. Nope. Here. We'll get to that in a minute.
Didn't want to overwhelm you. Oh, with all the cat pics.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We're good.
You're welcome to try.
Yeah.
Won't happen.
And Melissa, Clay has actually made a video on beginning investing, and I am going to edit it tomorrow and get it up. We don't, because it's the YouTube things, we don't like to space things too close together. We have to kind of space them out, but it is coming. Do not worry. That is coming very soon.
Yeah. Melissa, someone who knows nothing about money or any proper money education because it was always scary. Where should I start? Would love to learn about growing wealth, especially when you don't have much to start.
It's coming.
Yeah. The video is directed towards somebody who doesn't have much of a background. And in the video, I talk about how there's other, videos out there, and I consider them mostly to be hot garbage because, for example, a lot of them talk about trying how to pick stocks. And I think picking stocks for a beginning investor is just brainlessly stupid. Most people don't have the time, the skills to properly analyze companies.
That's too much risk for a beginning investor.
Now, if you work for a uranium company and you notice all of a sudden your stocks, your inventory of uranium is just flying out in sales, you think, demand for uranium is starting to soar, so I'm going to buy stock of the company. That's one thing. But if you're just, a nurse or an engineer or something, a mom at home, and you don't know anything specific, I'm not going to call it inside information, but you don't have any inside information and you don't know what company to buy, trying to pick out an individual stock's stupid.
I mean, you're not in Congress.
Or you're not in Congress. If you've got a good friend in Congress, just ask them what they're buying lately. That'll always turn out well for you. So you don't have any stock picking analytical skills, any database to really. I saw this one guy showing people how to analyze a stock, and he was using Bloomberg. Now, Bloomberg.
Let's not get in the weeds yet.
No, hold on.
Okay.
I just want to show you this. If I can find out where my desktop is. Sometimes I hate Windows.
While you're looking for it.
Yeah. Here's a video on Thor. Thor is a Irish wolfhound that I rescued. I used to, I would occasionally rescue large dogs. And so I was asked to babysit this Irish wolfhound for a week while its owner was going out of town. It was 7 months old.
We get that story in a minute. This is Thor and Tallulah playing. You can tell the story later.
Yeah.
Why you look for your stuff. Is there sound? We don't have sound.
No sound on it. Yeah, this is Thor and Tallulah. Thor is here only about 9 months to a year old. He's still got probably 8 to 10 inches to grow and another 70, 80 pounds to put on.
And but he was so sweet with Rue.
Yeah. They would just run and play, and he was so gentle with her. He would try to chase her, which she cuts pretty quick. And it actually, you could see him develop over time better balance and the ability to cut at angles.
But she was not afraid of him one bit.
Yeah.
And he was not mean to her one bit. I mean, and she was obviously tiny. I mean, he could have eaten her as like a snack. But he was just sweet with her.
Yeah, he was a good boy.
He is a big softy, and he is, he's actually I know. He loved her, and now he's on a bigger property where he's got a lot of grass to run around in, and they've got chickens, and he just hangs out with the chickens. They hang out on him. A Norse name to an Irish boy. That's hilarious. They've actually renamed him Thorman.
Yeah.
But yeah, his name was Thor. He is the best dog ever, by the way.
Okay, this is what I wanted to show you.
I'm sorry.
You'll notice the kind of all the fancy little colors and a lot of options you've got up here. This is a Bloomberg screen. And I've seen somebody, people running a beginning investing video talking about how to analyze stocks, and they'll throw this up. Now, Bloomberg's a huge database and it's relatively complex to use. But the thing that I really thought was epic was they're showing beginning investors, what to pull up on Bloomberg. Well, a Bloomberg terminal subscription runs $30,000 a year. Now, I don't know about y'all, but most beginning investors that I know of don't have $30,000 to spend on a data terminal.
No.
So, some of these
have one at your disposal.
Yes.
Which is helpful.
but so some of these beginning videos, like I say, I thought they were hot garbage. Some of them will tell you, kind of give you a good strategy, but not really tell you how to execute it. So in my video, I talk about, how not to buy stocks and how to invest, even if it's only $50 a month.
The one I'm going to get out the next couple days.
Yeah.
Do not worry, Melissa. It's
Yeah.
coming.
So watch it. And then if you want, I'll be glad to expand the information or alter it or edit it. Give me your feedback on it. Tell me what makes sense, what doesn't, what other remaining questions you've got. And we'll cover it, or I'll just redo the whole damn video.
And I had somebody bust on me today, on YouTube for saying something about McDonald's, that they make the most millionaires in America.
Yeah.
That any other company, it is a thing. If if you're not the college bound person and you have a kid, if your kid is not a college bound person because of finances or whatever, or it's just not for them, go work for McDonald's. They will make a millionaire out of you if you have the work ethic.
Yeah. I mean, I tell my kids, or ask them, my kids, my class, my students, I call them my kids, how many of y'all want to become a millionaire? And, most of them will raise their hand. And I'm like, well, the best way over the past, 50 years has been to start with flipping burgers. And they look at me like, he's knocked off an entire bottle of scotch before coming to class.
Which might not be untrue.
Well,
no, I'm kidding.
I drink expensive enough scotch to where I don't, I'm not going to be shotgunning it. I actually talk about drinking it more than I actually do. But anyway.
That is very true.
So, you flip burgers good. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. You're on time. You stay busy. Finding good employees is hard. So you do a good job in 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, you're going to get promoted to assistant manager. Now, an assistant manager at McDonald's, depending on where you live, is going to make $40,000 to $60,000 a year. But as an assistant manager, you learn inventory management. You learn how to handle the cash register, how to balance the books, that kind of thing, close out accounts. You learn about receiving inventory, all sorts of, business operation type things that when you started flipping burgers, you didn't know. Well, you do that for a couple of years and you're a good assistant manager. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, no, ma'am. Your own time. You work hard. You're trying to learn. You try to expand your skills. Well, after a couple of years.
Wait, so you're saying you have to just be an honest and kind, good worker.
Good to customers, care about your employment, your employer, care about the customers. Well, after a couple of years, you get promoted to a manager. And a manager at McDonald's makes 80 to 120. You're a good manager. You learn hiring, firing, you learn, employment, HR, you expand your toolkit, your skills, your value. Well, after being a good manager for a couple of years, you might become a general manager. Instead of managing one store, you're managing 2, 3, 4, 5 stores. And once you're a GM after a year, is it a year? After some time frame, McDonald's will actually work with you to buy your own franchise. They'll give you your own franchise, help finance it for you. The minimum revenue generated by any McDonald's in the world is $1 million. So within
a few years,
however many years,
we're talking like 20 years.
Yeah,
total.
You're a millionaire. You own one McDonald's. 5 years later, you buy a second, a third.
You start working at 16. By the time you're 26, you get into McDonald's.
Yeah.
That is not the word. I mean, I know it's shit food. I'm not promoting McDonald's food, but sorry.
Just pointing out that there is opportunity.
That one.
You
have a touch screen now.
Sorry. Crazy Cat Queen. So, and A Norse name to an Irish boy. That's hilarious. Yeah, if you look at some of the iconography in ancient Europe, you'll see depictions of Roman legions, and they're oftentimes led by a dog of war. And that dog of war looks exactly like a large Irish wolfhound. So I was thinking dog of war, god of war, Thor. So got the name. Dog of war, god of war.
Now I used to have an apricot brindle mastiff that was 150 pounds. Her name was Brandy. They were going to put her down. She was purchased by a breeder who bred mastiffs, and my ex-husband at the time did breeding things. We won't talk about that, but her hips didn't show, so they were going to put her down, and I said, "Oh no, you're not gonna. I will take her. You will not put this dog down just because her hips don't show. She's 2 years old. Heck no. My 2-year-old daughter could walk her on a leash without pulling nothing. And if you walked up to my daughter with Brandy on the leash beside her, you better not mess with my daughter."
Crazy cat going, geez, if I had 30,000, I wouldn't need to invest. So just watching some of these videos, and some of them had, some decent stock buying tips, but for a beginner, no, just no.
Okay, I'm getting to Quaddy's question. Hang on, let me check.
Melissa, can't wait. All right, so the pressure's on Ellen. She's giving you a timeline, giving you a date. Pressure's on Ellen.
It is. It's always on me.
Quaddy.
Hang on, I'm finding out.
Oh, Ellen is looking up the answer to your question.
I can't. Why am I allowed to?
We
Hang on. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, we're about 170 hours off.
I don't think so at this point. Hang on. We have got 2,817 hours out of 3,000. So
Which is, right. Thank you.
I guess you looked it up before I did. I don't.
Start at 16, you'll be making 40 to 60 at 21 instead of putting it out in a loan for college. Yep. No joke. Good, honest work.
Absolutely.
We do a lot of and I love college.
It's not for everybody.
I think college education can have some value, but we are graduating an awful lot of people with enough student debt that their student loan payment is equal to a mortgage. So they're coming out of college with a mortgage already. Plus, they've gotten a degree in something in which there are no jobs. I remember I'll have students come in and ask for advice. And one of them was actually considering going to gender studies. And I mean, my only response is, well, that's kind of cool. When you graduate in a year, they're building a new, gender studies factory right down the road. You can obviously get a job there. And they just stared at me for a second. We graduate a ton of kids that have very poor job prospects. I mean, how many of them have to go to work at Starbucks as a barista with a college degree? You've heard a lot of the Gen Zers talk about they graduate and they can't make enough money. Supply and demand is still a law. If you get a degree in and I'm not knocking the degrees. This is just, how the market shapes up. This is what happens to these kids. Poli-sci, psychology, English, history.
Unless you're going to be a psychologist or going to be a therapist, then psychology should not be your degree.
Even as a therapist, how much money does a therapist make?
Well, it depends if they actually get their full
with a bachelor's.
The bachelor's, none. They have to actually go through more schooling like everyone else, like a doctor or like a PhD in finance.
Yeah, it's
a bullshit degree. Sorry.
And I told my daughter when she was considering college, I said, when you go to college, you'll major in either finance, accounting, computers, engineering, um, one of those. Now, I don't care if you get a double degree in theater or whatever. I don't care if you want to go to Hollywood for a couple of years and see if you can become a star. I'm cool with that. But if you don't, at least you'll have a degree you can get a job with and pay your bills with. Kids go to college and take out these massive college loans and have no idea of how difficult it'll be to pay those back or what that will do to their future lifestyle.
Chunk. No. I'm going to put this out for you. There was, I did the SAE, their fraternity. I was their hairstylist for years. So one of them, I won't say his name, but he studied finance, and he did worked for a firm that did, why can't I think the term? When you go back and look at like an autopsy of records.
Audit?
And a tax, help me out.
CPA, accountant.
Well, he was that, but he would go back and look at
Forensic.
Yes, forensic. Thank you. Forensic auditor, right? So he did all that. And after 2 years, he still came back to North Carolina when he was living in Texas just to get his thank you, forensic accountant. Thank you, KP. Thank you, Brentwood. Yes.
And Melissa.
And Melissa. No, but he came back, he get his hair cut, and he said, "You know what, Ellen, I'm going to quit." I said, "You've gone to school for how long?" He said, "Yeah, but my dad was like a metal worker." I was like, "And what?" And I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Well, you know what? This job is too taxing on my mind, on my spirit, on everything." And he said, "You know what? My dad helped build the metal gate around the Statue of Liberty." And he's like, "You know what? That's what I want to learn how to do." So he went back to Maryland, and he is very successful right now. But he just left all of his college behind him. He was like, "I have no interest. I can use it for my own business, but no."
Yeah, and we on a lot of kids push college too much.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a great living without incurring all the debt as an electrician, a plumber,
Hairstylist,
a welder. My ex's brother was a nuclear welder. I'm not sure exactly how you get that certification, but
that's like Stuart Foreman. That's what he does.
And this was in the 80s. He was making six figures. It's damn good money. And, I used to do woodworking. I love working with my hands. I really do. When I cease teaching or back off and, I will return to that and doing, I like making things with my hands. I've even thought about taking a welding course.
We have a great welder in town.
Learning how to weld or diesel mechanics, I enjoy those things, and you can make good money doing that. College is not for everybody, and that's not a sin. That's not a moral decision or issue.
I think it's pushed on so many young kids, and they come out of there without an actual skill, and they don't know how to do anything to actually make money. Like I was in school for engineering and computer science, and I didn't graduate. And I went back to school and became a hairstylist and was successful. There's nothing wrong with having a skill set. A plumber. Yeah. Plumbers. Yeah. I love my plumber. You love our plumber.
And plumbers can start making money in, you have to do an apprenticeship. I'm not sure exactly how long that takes, but, a couple of years without the college debt. And
Mhm.
so, if you go to college, you've got the debt and then you have to try to find a job. You don't have people calling you, begging you to come over. You have to, find a job. And then once you do, you've got to work the career path. And it might be several years, many years before you hit $100,000. So, in terms of long term earnings and potential or whatever, being able to control their own hours wherever they want to live, a lot of kids would be better off in the trades.
Lady in Black, please send us an email because I may have even a better deal for your son. I can't do
So,
specifics.
but, college isn't the end all, particularly if you're not getting it in one of those 4 or 5 disciplines. The STEM degrees are in great demand.
Mhm.
Money, opportunity. Now your first few years, like if you graduate in finance and you go to work for a investment banker, you can expect your first couple of years to work, or you should expect to.
Oh shit! Sorry, Chunk just destroyed something. Chunk.
You can expect to work 70 or 80 hours a week for the first several years. But the thing is, you meet people, you establish relationships, you develop a work ethic, you develop skills that will serve you well for the remainder of your career. And you'll probably be able to retire early. But how many kids are willing to do the work to get that finance degree, to do extremely well in obtaining, grade-wise, that finance degree so that they can get the good jobs? Same with accounting, engineering, computers, software engineering, whatever. A lot of kids just don't want to spend their college years working, and that's a problem. But the trades, I'm a huge supporter of the trades. I admire the hell out of these people, and like I say, I enjoy working with my hands. Crazy Cat Queen. Since I go to a traditional uni with kids, I have a granddaughter in college. I am amazed at how much research some have done for their future. Others, not so much. FBI when smoking dope is a nope. Yeah. You got to, and I tell my kids, depending on how they handle their credit, like if you're in college and you don't take care of your credit card, you're not going to get a job in the financial industry that requires you to be bonded or maintain high moral character. So I've had kids who go through and make it the first couple of rounds in the interviews. And then when, push comes to shove and they have to do the background check, all of a sudden they're kicked out because they had a credit card. They didn't make payments on time. They made minimum payments, didn't even make those on time. You gotta know where you're headed, and you gotta take care of business. KP, my bachelor's is in English. At the time, I had no aspirations for law school. It was hard trying to get a job after graduation. No regrets, but I wish I'd been better prepared for life. Listen, I talk about this and I kind of harp on it because my undergraduate is in biochemistry. Now, when I got out, I was going to go to med school, but worked in a hospital, worked in surgery, and kind of lost my love for it because I saw the way the future was headed in medicine, doing more work for less money, more bureaucracy, more regulation, all this kind of stuff that I wasn't interested in. And the only area I was really interested in was pediatric surgery, which every pediatric surgeon I knew had a horrible family life because they were always at the hospital. And obviously they had opportunities with some of the nurses. Anyway, so decided not to, finish out in med school, but it was like, what the career prospects are for somebody with a undergraduate in biochemistry? Now, it was a pain in the ass to get the degree. Excuse me. Absolute pain in the ass to get the degree. But the only thing I could do with that degree was collect sewage water for analysis. I couldn't even analyze it. So I'm the poster child for getting a worthless degree, one without many career prospects. So I had to do a 180. I almost said a 360. Y'all ever hear anybody say I did a 360? Well, they're still facing in the same direction. So I had to do a 180 and go back to school, get some background in finance, because I was always interested in money and the way money worked. So I had to go back to school, get some other certifications, and finally was able to, get started in this field. So I'm not mocking somebody for getting a university degree.
No.
Not at all. I do respect them, but I'm just trying to communicate some of the practical realities for those people who are heading into college, or like you say, some of them don't think about their future, both in terms of the money they borrow. I've had kids take out a student loan so they can go on a spring vacation down in Mexico.
It is so much more expensive now. I know this is probably irrelevant to most of you, but in North Carolina, if you're a state resident, then you pay a lot less in tuition because it's state supported. It's a state funded school. So you can live here for a year and base your residence here, get your license, your driver's license here, do whatever, and then you are a state human. So you get a state tuition, which is probably less than half of what you pay out of state. But I know people, even when I went to college, that were from the North, the West, the South, every other state but North Carolina, lived here a year, got state supported tuition. I'm like, dude, I've lived here my whole life. I mean, it's kind of everybody kind of screws with the system at times. But however, I was an engineering and computer science major and ended up being a hairstylist. I mean,
And made good money.
It's just wherever your passion is, follow that, and don't worry about the degrees that they say you need to have, or whatever BS they're throwing at you.
Yeah. I tell my kids, find something they love to do and figure out a way to get paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
KP, truth be told, the English degree came in handy in law school. I appreciate the education. I still wish I had something else to fall back on. Yeah, it's kind of like I told my daughter, there are practical realities in this world. Get a second major in whatever you want, try it for a while, but you've still got to be able to pay the bills. Because when you graduate college, I'm done paying your bills. Except for a phone bill till she was 35 or 40.
That was like 2 years ago. You quit paying her phone bill.
Yeah,
Daddy.
She didn't quite listen to me.
Mm-hmm. She was like, I'm going to take the free as long as I can get it. She's smart. You taught her.
Yeah. Talking about education and spending on education, sometimes I fuss about how much we spend on education. And this graph kind of sums up why. If we look at where money for colleges, for our educational spending, primary, secondary schools, has gone, you'll notice here this bottom line: students, growth in students since 2000. Well, students have grown 8%. Teachers, the little green line, have also grown about 8%. But here's where the money's going. Principals and assistant principals up 37%. And where the money's really going, administrative staff up 88%. So when we talk about we need more money for schools, I'm like, we overspend on education. What we need to do is to allocate it towards education. Oftentimes I say we're not in the business of education, we're in the business of administering education. And again, I'm not knocking anybody, the administrators, the principals, or whatever. There's some good people out there that are honestly trying to do good jobs, have important roles. But you look at data like that, you look at tables like that, and it needs a critical eye. We need to say, is this really how we want to direct the spending? Is this really helping the kids do better? And since I've been teaching 2008, the academic preparation of the students has gotten worse, consistently gotten worse. Now, my international students are my best students. My international students read and write English better than my domestic ones, which just baffles me. Mathematically, my best ones are generally international students. I mean, there are some good American students. I'm not saying there aren't, but on average. And I get there's a little sample bias there. By sample bias, I mean that the selection of international students I get the better students. So it's not really a fair comparison in that regard. But my point is we can do a whole hell of a lot better in primary and secondary education in this country. We know how to do it. We did it for the first 150, 175 years. It's in a lot of ways, I'd be glad to go back to the one room school if we were teaching kids how to read, write, and do arithmetic again. So that's my main concern is the kids. We are dumbing down the kids. We are lowering the standards. We're replacing disciplined education with all sorts of whimsical and whatever kind of knowledge information. They've got information that's a mile wide and an inch deep. I don't think that's real education, my opinion. So when I say we spend too much on education, that's really what I'm getting to. Is I think we can do a better job for the kids. I think ultimately we have got to do a better job for the kids. Now, as you'll notice, Ellen has already abandoned me again. I think the dogs were getting a little too energetic, too anxious, and maybe needed to go outside and tour the neighborhood a little bit. So stretch their legs. Hold on, Ellen is calling me for just a second. Ellen just stuck her head in the door and said her son Carson attended one of my classes. He was in high school, and it was an intro investments course, just the basics of investing. And I forget what the particular topic was the day he was there, but after class, he was talking with his mom and said, "Well, why don't they teach this in high school?" Which kind of is interesting as a college professor. I've got a high school student going, "Oh yeah, that should be taught." Whatever he was doing, we could do that in high school. And it could, honestly. There's a lot of the basic initial level stuff that could be covered in high schools. I mean, I'm one of those people. I want to see home ec. I want to see mechanical drawing. I want to see woodworking. I want to see, metalworking classes brought back to high school, music, actual art classes. I want to see those brought back into the schools. I think, kids are missing out. Gardening, basic gardening skills. I call it home ec, but how do you repair a pair of jeans? How do you cook? How do you boil eggs? Just, kind of basic stuff. Hello, Chum. Sorry about that. Don't know how that happened.
Oh, I was just saying, no, like my son took ceramics, woodworking. He can at least make things and do things. But he was like, why can't I lost my train of thought. Help me out.
Well, that's all right
You
because
know where I was going.
Chuck muted the sound.
But you should know what a closing statement looks like and what it means. I mean, I saved us like my ex-husband and I $6,000 on a closing because I had the real estate course, and I went through the closing statement, and I was like, this isn't right.
Yeah. Now he went to a high school that actually did offer some of those courses, but in most
I can't control the junk.
most high schools have done away with those kind of courses, and I think that's an important part of education.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy Cat Queen, what do you expect when politicians line their pockets with lobbyist donations? I thought that they use that to invest with, to add to their infinite wisdom and to invest with, so that they can get a job as a representative making $140,000 a year, and within 3 years become a multimillionaire.
Really?
Brilliant investors. KP, whatever's been done in the last 25 years of public education is not paying off at all. I really think, and like I say, I know there's some good people still in education, but from what I see in terms of trends and the national leadership, the focus is no longer on educating the kids.
All right, I've got him. He's not going anywhere.
Crazy Cat Queen. The only true learning anyone needs is critical reading. If you can read about and learn to do most anything else, conceptually speaking.
That is a tough thing, though, because most kids don't have to read anything. I mean, during COVID, my son, I think I said this last time, had his phone in his pocket, and I was like, what is that sound? He was like, oh, that's French class. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you just had to have the hours show up on your online instruction.
There were no tests. There is no more SAT.
How many of the great works of history do kids have to read now? I remember my daughter's reading list her senior year included books, and I've read a lot, but the books that were on her reading list her senior year, there was only one author that I was familiar with, and that was Jimmy Carter.
Oh, really?
which he was not known for his
eloquent writing.
Yeah.
So I read Walt Whitman in high school.
I mean, there were men with ideas and thoughts that have motivated and shaped the course of history. The old saying was that the pen is mightier than the sword. Well, nowadays
it can be.
Nowadays, kids don't even know how to operate a pen. So, and we talked about this a little bit last time about how the Oracle of Citrium advised, was asked, how do I live a wonderful life? And the Oracle replied, speak to the dead, read, study great ideas from the past, learn from those. And that's how you teach. I think that's how you teach critical thinking, critical reading, is you're reading these great ideas and it brings questions to you, and you ask them, you talk about them with other people, with your teachers, with your professors, whatever.
Clay, that's not how it is anymore. They don't teach.
No, but I'm talking about how to develop the skills.
They don't teach you how to think. They teach you what to think. And that is huge.
Yeah. The school is becoming more and more indoctrination than it is education. Melissa. Whoops, where'd you go? Melissa. so grateful we had shop and home and art when I was in school.
Junk.
Yeah, I never, I sucked at art. Actually, it was really more like a study hall rather than an art class. But I enjoyed the hell and have profited greatly from. I had a mechanical drawing class. It's like how to, read a blueprint, how to draw different dimensions and angles
We can tell him how I ruined your pencil.
Yeah,
You have the spherical object, and he's not gonna go
There.
down until you
There.
get. Thank you.
sorry,
Thanks.
didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
KP, I had a conversation with my neighbor who teaches 6th grade English, and I did not recognize any of the books she mentioned. I remember.
It's not a good thing, KP, and I think that those are probably books that our kids should not be reading.
Yeah. They don't inspire them. I want to say indoctrinate them, whether it's intentional or not. I do think overall the educational system has worked mightily to dumb down the curriculum and produce people who can't think, who won't challenge authority, who won't aspire to greatness, who don't believe in themselves enough to think that they can do great things.
There are literally people now, or most of the schools now are actually giving books that are pornographic to elementary school humans, and that is not okay with me.
Yeah, we've probably all seen videos of parents that go to the school board meeting and pull out these books and start to read them, and the school board won't let them read them. Well, if you've got a book that you can't read in front of the school board,
Don't read
it doesn't need to
kids.
be in an elementary school.
No.
It's not complex. KP, to Crazy Cat Queen's point, reading and thinking are intricately intertwined.
Yes,
They are. I mean, and kids naturally, I believe, love to read if they are encouraged to do so. I was reading Alexander Solzhenitsyn's The Gulag Archipelago in the 6th grade. 600 pages. It's not a quick read, but I loved reading.
I will tell you that there's every book behind us, every book in front of us, every book beside us. We've got 2,000 books at this point.
Probably left, yeah.
But Clay has read over 10,000 books, no doubt.
I used to have a library of about 10,000 books, and moving and just getting rid of clutter, I've kind of reduced it down to an essential lower number, which irritates me because I look for a book. There's something that, I want to show Ellen or somebody or reference or whatever, and I don't have it anymore. So that's kind of irritating. I look at my library and I'm almost embarrassed now. But practical realities, I didn't need a big library.
I think that's Mahoney. Continue.
Excuse me for a second. We're back.
Spherical object has been. We can't say the BALL word because everyone goes nuts in this household when we say the BALL word.
Yeah.
So spherical object is that's what we have to do.
The euphemism. And once they learn that, we'll have to change to something else. Lady in Black, they used to say universities taught you how to think. Colleges taught you how to do. Here in Canada, we used to teach higher critical thinking skills and ideas. Now we spend a lot of our time teaching remedial courses in the universities because kids come to us. They can't read, write, or do basic arithmetic.
Hang on. Clay teaches a junior senior courses, and they are about finance. But now he is a writing intensive course because the kids can't freaking read and write, and it is just insane. It's like he should not have to spend his time grading papers on how they write when he teaches finance. That's insane.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. We've talked about that a little bit before, but I won't go down that hole today. Crazy Cat Queen. People don't realize reading the classics allows you to literally hang out with past geniuses.
Yes.
Amen. I mean, who wouldn't want to have lunch with Moses, Marcus Aurelius, Shakespeare, Hemingway?
Jane Eyre.
I mean,
there are a million.
yeah.
Good name.
And it's actually fun
Walt
to
Whitman.
read a lot of these. You know, sometimes Ayn Rand
Oh,
in Atlas Shrugged. That book is a legitimate 600 pages. And
Can you
I
imagine?
freely admit she could have done it in 300 and still had as good of a story. But once you are in 10, 20 pages, you actually start getting hooked. And I would literally, you know, every night look forward to picking up that book, reading another, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40 pages, whatever it was. And, you know, get tired, close it up. And, you know, I read on it for a month. I don't know, several weeks.
I just think of the metaphor, and I get stuck on that. Like, okay, Atlas is he's got the world on his shoulders. What if he shrugged? I mean, it would all fall down.
Yeah.
I could go into so many different thoughts on that one. It's just stupid.
You know, John Galt is an epic figure, and the book is almost prophetic. It was written in the 30s and it was almost prophetic for, you know, what we've seen this last, you know, 10, 20 years in attitudes and the economy. But nowadays, you know, nobody's familiar with it. So 1984, I could go on. But, you know, I love, you mentioned Marcus Aurelius. You cannot read that man and not have some serious introspection and thought about your own life, your own course, your own discipline, your manners, how you view others. And that's education. That's what kids need growing up. Where are we?
I don't know.
Lady in Black. I loved home ec, but I was already sewing at a higher level than my teacher. I don't remember not being able to sew. It's great because I can tailor things to actually fit me. It's an important skill. It really is. And it's useful, particularly if you don't live next to a seamstress and you're, you know, like I have work clothes, not office work clothes, yard work clothes.
Have any work clothes?
Yard work.
Okay, so Clay has black t-shirts
and
then old black t-shirts.
This is like
this is like dress
what I go to work in, but I'm talking about like in the yard, and you know, a button will pop off or whatever, and I need.
No, you don't have buttons on your clothes. They are old.
Yeah, on my BDUs. BDUs, my camouflage pants.
Okay, so it's camouflage pants and all black t-shirts.
Anyway, ignore her.
Right. Anyway, y'all heard that.
Being able to do patching and sewing. This is a great invention. This is called an assault gun. Assault gun. Salt gun
for flies.
Yeah,
highly recommended.
You load in salt, and it's like a little salt shotgun. You crank it up, and if you're within 2 or 3 feet of the fly, you can splatter them. It's great. So you're far enough away where the bee doesn't really see you coming or fly off. You know, if you try to get too close to swat it. And, you know, it's got a nice little kill pattern, so you don't have to be perfectly on target. And it's fun as hell.
And yes, we have all of the fly traps that you could ever imagine. However, we have an immense amount of flies, and we killed about 30 in the past 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lady in Black, they don't make stuff for my body type. That is not uncommon. You know, they have, most any clothes manufacturer.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody has a different body than the standard that they use when they cut a pattern. And so you're always having to cinch up or ease up or squeeze in or whatever, and being able to do some of those alterations, repairs or whatever is nice. Being able to cook your own food
I'm
is
learning.
nice. Being able to garden and know, certain plant diseases and what they need. Tomatoes need potassium. Too much nitrogen is an issue. Knowing just some of the basic things to grow good crops.
Can we just put out like a little list of things that you know about that?
It would be a short list.
Well, I'm just
Brentwood Sheik fell in love with reading at 8 when I read Wizard of Oz, the full book, and saw the story in my head like a movie. How many of you have read a book and then gone and seen the movie? The book is almost always better. It inspires your mind and your thoughts, and you I want to say fantasize. That almost has a bad connotation to it nowadays, but there is a purity in good fantasy.
Hey, I'm gonna take this. Okay. So
You're not going to take it far.
no. Oops. Brentwood Shake. I don't know if you're like me or not, but like I can literally talk to people and then from what I've read, see something in my head and then make them kind of like a cartoon or some kind of humorous thing going on. Or it might be serious, but either way, it's like because of all the things I've read, I can make something into something else and make a story out of it. Maybe I'm just talking nonsense. I don't know.
She's messing with my mic's what she's doing. KP, I think what gets my goat is that I read a lot as a kid and read books that opened my mind. In many ways, due to my life circumstances, books saved me, my mind, and my character. I'm so grateful.
We are grateful that you did as well because I get it.
Yeah, it's just I don't know anybody. I honestly don't know anybody that was raised reading a lot that isn't grateful for it. I mean, if I've never in my life heard anybody say I read too much. Just thinking about this, I've never heard anybody say I've read too much. I've heard people say, "Oh, I didn't really like that one. I wouldn't read it again." And if that isn't as great of an incentive and testimony to read, I don't know anything else that would be better.
When I was growing up, I was in 8th grade or eighth grade or middle school. When you read $10, you got a free pizza, a personal pan pizza from Pizza Hut. So I read like 80 books that summer because you got to eat, man. I mean, it's a thing.
Melissa, now I'm inspired to reread the classics. I enjoy reading some of the 16th century Puritans because they have such great high thoughts. They really elevate humans and human nature. I mean, the thinking of humans and human nature, they understand it to a very deep degree. Not that they're elevating humans because they're generally elevating God. But anyway, it's interesting to read them because a whole page, one paragraph will be a whole page. Or a whole sentence will be a whole page. The writing style is just completely different.
I'm going to skip one or a few. Nope.
Let's see. KP, I read an article recently that said the kids now don't have the patience for it. And that breaks my heart. So much more in books than reading than is given credit for. Kids are taught to be constantly stimulated with TV, with video games, with computers, with phones, whatever. They need constant visual stimulation. They can't focus and they can't fantasize. They can't think. They don't develop the realm of thought, that area of the mind that focuses and deliberates on various issues.
We have a student of Dr. Moffat's in here.
I love to read. Learned that young too. Mom was a primary school teacher.
Oh,
Good for you. Good for your mom. And really, as parents, probably the most important thing you can do for your kids is getting them to love reading. They'll do it on their own, just with a little encouragement. Crazy Cat Queen, except Dickens. Hard Times took me half the damn book before I could get through it. There are certain exceptions to the rule.
there are.
Nathan Price. It's a familiar name. I had you for fixed income and derivatives. Uh-oh, I may have to delete this one. Toughest class I had at UNCW, but it was definitely worth my taking. On second thought, I think I'll let this one stand. I learned more in that class than any other. I appreciate the challenge. You know, it's good to see you. And I really appreciate the comment. That is, you know, having students like you makes my job a joy and will, till I draw my last breath, be a good memory. So I really appreciate that.
However, you better make a lot of money and pay a lot of taxes.
The big key in your life, the big goal in your life is to pay outrageous taxes, because I want my Social Security. You're probably screwed, but I want mine.
I made that point today. I was like, if you are 40 and under, make lots of money, pay lots of taxes.
He's heard that before.
I want mine.
Thank you, Nathan. I do appreciate that.
How you doing, Nathan? I've never seen you. I meet a lot of the students.
Yeah, I don't know where you're working or whatever, and you don't
have to mention.
Don't have to say, but if you're in town or whatever, some afternoon, give me a holler. We'll go grab a scotch or a beer or a glass of water, coffee or something.
And I'll come give y'all both hell. So.
But yeah, would enjoy that. KP, Dickens is tough. Yeah, there are some who aren't quite as enjoyable as others, but Lady in Black, the book is inevitably better than the movie. Yeah, I repeat, I have extremely rarely heard somebody say they like the movie better. At Lady, I respect that. Good for you.
Ellen, BDU battle draft uniform fatigues. Oh, I have those.
She just doesn't know what they are. Also, I kill flies with a flick of my ball cap. Skill learned in Iraq cause so many flies. I like the spiders, those the big ass camel spiders they've got running around there.
Crazy Cat Queen, girl, I have got the fatigues. I got it all. We are good. I will partner with you any day. And the flies, oh my God, the flies.
Yeah, they have busted out this year. They were late starting, but they're making up for it.
Characters have about to my mind.
I
know, right? KP?
Sorry.
They just kind of I just imagine them. It's kind of a cool thing.
And it gives you some fun stuff to talk about or mention every once in a while. Brentwood Chic. See, got that. Got it down pat now.
Good job.
I learned a lot of vocabulary reading that book. You had to look up or ask what some words meant, and just haven't been able to get enough of books since.
Well, that's the thing, is if you have to look up the words in the dictionary, like my parents would be like, check the encyclopedia, look in the dictionary. You had to do your own research and have your own mind and think your own things. And that is just not a thing anymore. Sorry, but that just drives me nuts.
Melissa's a soul brother.
Pizza Hut thing? Woohoo! I know, right? I got so many pizzas. It was so cool. I'm so glad, Melissa. You're the best.
Summer reading goals were definitely a thing.
Yep.
KP sending out some love to Nathan. And then Brentwood. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. Still gives me heartburn. But you've got some great quotes to throw out now. And I love good quotes. I really do. I have books on quotes. I just read quotes.
Miss Havisham still freaks me out.
Yeah.
That she had her husband dead in her bed for so long. Why would you make a child read that? That is the worst thing ever.
Okay, so I think we can all agree that maybe Dickens, we can just put it aside. There's enough other good stuff to read. Dickens has a place in a role, but yeah.
Okay, go. Go Chase. Get the ball. They are terriers. They are not retrievers. They do not understand that.
All right, I noticed the time here, 9:21. So we've run a little bit late. That is not a problem. I've really enjoyed it. Good conversation with y'all. Y'all always make it an enjoyable time. Thank you for pictures of your I'm going to say pets. So if you have pets that didn't get your babies, so if you have babies that didn't get time or the love tonight, send them to us. We'll get them up and kind of spread the quan with them.
I've got a question.
I've got an answer.
I'm not asking you.
Oh.
Okay. How do y'all feel about Saturday night? Should we stop that and do another night during the week? Oh my goodness. We're dropping stuff over the ball. The spherical object. Should we continue Saturday, or would y'all rather us do another night during the week? And if you would rather us do another night during the week, which night would it be? So please let us know. Send us a message. We are, do you even put our email on here or Twitter?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Sort of.
You're going to now? Okay.
Well, if I can type.
I don't know why you can't.
There it is. So it's
MoffatOnMoney@gmail.com or just MoffatOnMoney at on Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah.
So let us know. Like, we don't want to
And for those of you that aren't familiar, we have a regular Saturday night show. And on Saturdays, we generally have a topic we cover. Tonight's just kind of an open Q&A forum.
rambling.
Yeah. Open commentary. We did the pups party tonight because Chunk and Tulu get a fair amount of airtime, and we thought it was only right that y'all's babies get some airtime too.
Whatever you guys want to do. We just want to. It's not Monday or Friday. Yeah, no kidding. I know. It's Ian and Rob. We just want to engage with you when you want to be engaged with about this topic, and we would love for you to send us ideas on what you want to know about. Anything you're interested in, and am I continue on? I mean, I'm just here for the ride. Let us know. Like I said, Twitter, Moffat on Money, and then MoffatOnMoney@gmail.com. It will probably just go to Clay, but he will forward me anything that I need to see, because for some reason the Gmail thing isn't working on my computer like everything else. And we will have a camera, hopefully, by Saturday.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll do something.
Right? All right. Well, we love you guys to death.
Yeah, and we figured, we knew about Ian and Rob on Mondays and Fridays.
And Wednesdays.
So, Tuesday and Thursdays, Tuesday and Saturdays. Sunday night is generally not a good night for most people. Getting ready to go back to work and school and whatever. So probably, be staying with Saturday night, but we want you guys' input, and, we love you, care about you, and, what works for you. So appreciate your input, appreciate your time, appreciate you being here with us tonight.
Thank you.
We always enjoyed you.
Get through all the tears. and the camera issues. I do appreciate it because I was feeling like a really big retard.
So
Anyway,
thank you all very much. We're in your debt.
we love you.
Our time is up. We thank you for yours. Good night.